I thought, there was a number of times where, BG tried to take control of the game, and I thought we were able to battle back. We didn't have enough guys that were able to kind of come in and contribute. And we'll look at, a number of the defensive breakdowns we had, especially in that second half, as things that really ended up determining the game. Bowling Green is a really good team. Obviously, Justin Turner is a really good player, as well as, Daquan Plowden. And, they get so many contributions from so many different guys that it's hard. But, there were certain things I definitely liked about our group in their first effort there against a Division I team. And we still have a lot to get better at also.
Questions for Coach. Go ahead, Zach.
All right, thanks, Deuce. Andy, when you look at things, just the offensive fouls really were prevalent throughout the game. A lot of them repeated mistakes. Just is that coachable moments, or what do you attribute those mistakes to?
Yeah, certainly stuff that we'll look at on film and we'll talk about. I mean, we oftentimes talk about playing off 2 feet, and there were some times where we just went barreling in there, and we got to play under more control. We got to be able to, jump stop and make a good decision. I mean, a lot of times if guys are setting up to take charges against you, that means you've drawn a crowd. And if you've drawn that crowd, it might be time to be able to move the ball. And that'll be certainly stuff that we'll talk about, we'll look at, and communicate to our guys.
With these last 2 weeks, just how much were you able to necessarily practice or get guys on the court in these repetitions in between these 2 games?
We weren't. I mean, we had one team practice yesterday. So we have a lot to catch up on. We have a lot to work on. You could see fatigue was something that kind of affected us in that second half. And, we just haven't been able to get enough time in on the court. It's not an excuse. I still think there's things that we should have been able to control that we did not. The rhythm and timing at times you could see was off even to start that second half. There was a couple of great passes made on the interior that we kind of bobbled that, I think if you kind of have your timing and your bearings about you, we'll hopefully in a week or two be completing some of those plays and some of those opportunities.
Foul trouble really got you guys again tonight too. Jon had foul trouble in the first half. AJ had foul trouble in the second half. Just how difficult was it maybe for guys to try to pick each other up when leaders such as those guys lead by example were on the bench? Yeah, it's tough, and they're our most experienced guys, and they've been through all the wars, and so you gotta, kind of, and they can't be as aggressive as they want to be because they're not, they don't want to pick up another foul, so it makes it a challenge, but it's all, I think part of the growth and the learning and the things that we got to get better at.
The team got off to a slow start. What did you tell the guys early on to get them in a rhythm and cut into that Bowling Green lead?
I think, we talked about doing the things that we work on. Let's execute the way that we work on executing in practice. Let's make sure that we're competing on the defensive side, finishing possessions with rebounds. Obviously, towards the end of the game, we gave up some offensive rebounds, but that's what we talked about. Executing with precision, making simple plays. Being aggressive on your catches. I think those are some of the things that guys have to embrace.
It seemed like you were cutting at a deficit at times, but that one more play to get over that hump was either negated by ball rotations out there for open shots or rebounds or just stagnant lulls. Just what do you attribute their one more that they were able to have maybe over you guys throughout much of the game?
Some of it's being them being a very good team, right? And I think this is, I don't know what game this is for them, but they got a veteran team. Justin Turner's a fifth-year senior, and Plowden's a senior, and Caleb Fields is a junior who's played a lot of minutes. Trey Diggs is a senior. I mean, those guys have been through the wars, and we got some guys that are coming off our bench that are kind of figuring out and learning on the fly, right? There was a stretch of the game where we're trying to cut into the lead in the second half, and where we had I look at the 5 guys in the game, and we got Enoch Traden and Pat Sumanek in there, and you're looking at 3 freshmen going, okay, let's try and survive these next handful of possessions, and all those guys I think showed some signs, but it's got to be more consistent, and some of the details really, really matter. And trying to get guys to understand how much the details matter is important.
how tough was it putting a schedule together? I guess putting this game together, obviously you scheduled Marshall 11th hour for Sunday as well. Just how much was it putting those two games together, and how much could that be the norm moving forward?
Obviously as we move forward, hopefully it'll be, all conference stuff from here on out if everyone can stay healthy. But it's what it's been. It's just constant communication, constant text messages firing back and forth between coaches, staffs. Hey, what are you looking for? Can you play? Are you available? Do you have this day? Can you come here? I mean, it's just been, nonstop since the year started. I'm getting texts today say, can you play on December 23rd at LSU? No, we can't. But I mean, those kind of things are getting sent every day, across the country. And as soon as you have one possibility, if that one gets negated, then you kind of circle the wagons again and you just reach out to your contacts and see if, someone else is looking. The number of times I've sent texts to guys this year say, who have you heard from today? And then they'll send me 5 schools, and then you're trying to reach out to those guys to see if something can get put together. So it's been a challenge, but it was great to be able to get those guys on the court. It was great to be able to get them, some real Division I experience, right? We had the game against Point Park, and, there were certain things that we could get away with maybe that, Point Park couldn't capitalize on. Today, every time there was a little bit of a chink in our armor, BG took great advantage of it, right? A miscommunication, a step too slow, a step too late, a step too soon. And those are the things that you got to experience in order to kind of get your team to where they need to be.
Kind of a non-game question here for you, Andy. Chris Shovlin celebrated his 1,000th broadcast at RMU. He's been there through the highs and the lows of the program. Just what do you make of Chris and his time here at RMU?
I mean, I think Shove is as good as it gets. I watch a lot of games on TV, on internet, listen to games on radio. I mean, Shove's a absolute pros pro. We are fortunate to have him. His loyalty, his dedication to Robert Morris is incredible. His professionalism is incredible. I have so many friends and family that listen to the games, and they just they can't believe how good he is at what he does. And not to knock anybody else, but there's times where you turn on other broadcasts and it's just not the same quality. And Shove is an incredible supporter of our program. He's available at any point in time to do anything for our program, our department, our guys. And it's been an honor to, be associated with him and the work that he does because, he's the best.
Any other questions for Coach?
You kind of got off to a slow start there in the first quarter or the first half. How nice was it to kind of see the guys bounce back and kind of cut the lead down there late in the first half?
Yeah, I mean, that's one of the things that you want to see from your team. How do they respond when they get down? And, I thought the response was good. I thought some of the communication in the timeouts and the huddles was good. Guys talking about, following the formula, taking good shots, making good plays, being strong with the ball, finishing possessions with rebounds. I mean, those are all the things that you got to be communicating on a regular basis. And, I thought these guys did a good job of kind of, talking about the right stuff. And now we got to be able to go out on the court and execute the right stuff, more consistently over the course of a game.
Anything else, gentlemen? No? All right. Thank you, Coach.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks,
Coach. Jon, for you, just with the lack of practice time you guys have been able to get, how tough has it been to kind of come into the game and try to instill what you know with this team with a group of guys that maybe you're not as familiar with?
Practice, it definitely, helps a lot, and not being able to practice, obviously we weren't able to, cover everything that we wanted to, or, to be able to play at the level we wanted to. But, at the same time, that's no excuse. And that's why I'm always constantly on guys. And that's why, I'm constantly on our leaders and seniors and guys who've experienced and been through these things to stay on people. Because, at the end of the day, we want to win. Nobody feels sorry for us. So we can't feel sorry for ourselves that we didn't, have a chance to practice. We got to go out and compete like we have been practicing. So at the end of the day, we have to take responsibilities for ourselves and our own actions to be able to come out and compete like the way we want to.
Jon, you guys got off to kind of a slow start there in the first half, missing, I think, your first 9 shots from the field. What was kind of the communication in the huddle on the court between the guys just to kind of keep going and battle back there in the first half?
I think we knew we would be a little bit rusty. But that's never my focus. Offense is never my focus. Defense, if we can get stops, we can pretty much take whatever shot we want, So it's all about stops. Obviously you go on stretches where you get cold and things of that nature. But those are all great shots. And I thought, at the end of the day, if we keep getting those looks, we'll be able to make shots. So, I'm a big proponent of defense first, and then defense leads the easy offense.
Mm-hmm.
Jon, for you from that defensive side, it seemed like they were making those extra passes. They knew where they were on the court. Maybe you guys were a step behind them or just had some inconsistencies on that end when you guys needed to get stops. Just what did you see against a team that really is a veteran team that really seemed to be together for the most part?
I thought, obviously they got a couple games under the belt, so, their chemistry is pretty much down packed a little bit. Like you said, they know where their spots are. They know where their guys going to be, as a team should. And, I think from our standpoint, I think we got to have a lot more guys buying into making an extra effort. Defense is all about multiple efforts, and offense is about multiple actions. So, I think we got to be able to rotate, and we got to be able to, it's all about who's tough. We got to make the tougher play, and sometimes it might be a long closeout. Sometimes it might be getting to your front and pushing a big underneath the basket. We got to make extra efforts, to be successful. And that's what it's going to be. We got to be that scrappy team. We got to be that grit team that's going to do those little things. We're kind of undersized in a lot of cases. So we got to be able to hit and go get, and we got to be able to make those tough plays.
How difficult is it as a leader on this team when you see the repeated mistakes, the offensive fouls, which were illegal screens, just missed assignments, maybe not being physical enough for a rebound or a loose ball? Just as a leader, those are things that are intangible stuff that maybe are more controllable. Just how difficult was that to kind of see tonight?
It's tough, especially, coming from, winning games and you coming off a championship. It's tough to see those things because you don't want to see those things or have those mistakes. But at the end of the day, it's a whole new team. It's a lot of young guys and things of that nature. But we just got to constantly be in their ear. Obviously experience is the best learner. And right now we don't have our identity yet. We don't have yet. We have yet to have an identity, and we haven't had enough scar tissue. And like I said, experience is the best teacher. So, at the end of the day, either you're going to like winning or you're going to hate it, and it's going to make you change your actions, or you're going to keep those same actions. For me, I hate it. So if you're around me, if you're on my team, you're going to hear it from me. You're going to hear it. I expect I hold myself to a high standard, so my expectations for everybody else is at that standard. And if you don't want to be at that standard, it's going to show, and I'm going to point it out. So, it was frustrating. But like I said, I think it was a great learning experience for us. It's going to eat me up for a couple, days maybe until we play the next game, and then maybe some things will eat me up then again. So, but it's all about going back to the film, checking everything out and seeing what we can do better as a team, not just pointing people out, but just as a team, because it's a team. It takes a team effort to win games.
Any other questions for Jon?
Yeah, sure. One more on my end, Jon. Just being a chameleon, just not knowing if you're going to play tomorrow, not knowing if you're going to get to practice tomorrow. Just how has that been as a competitor, as a person?
Nerve-wracking. But obviously you have to take advantage of the opportunity that you're given. So everything here on out, you have to be much more appreciative for, and you have to, give what the moment requires. I say that a lot because I really do mean that. You have to give what the moment requires, and at the end of the day, you have to be grateful for whatever opportunity you get, because not everybody gets to play this game at this level either.